Start with the first one. Changes to test chips. Changes to test chips. Closed test 13.6. Based on the testing results, we're applying changes to French destroyers. Wait, aren't they coming out just next patch? Huh? French destroyers Admiral, Statenland, Theseus, Libertad, and Comodoro, as well as Spanish ships Almirante, Oquendo, and Victoria. Aren't they out next patch? Is this Wargaming or Lesta? This is Wargaming. Wargaming. This is EU. I mean, French DDs are coming out on Wargaming, on EU. The new American destroyers are coming out on Lesta. So that's the difference. French, EU, American, Lesta. But yeah, Wargaming are releasing this the next patch in early access. What have they changed? Engine power consumables changed. Maximum speed bonus reduced. Duration reduced. Oh god, are they nerfing everyone? Maybe it includes nerfing the tier 10 as well, though. Because I talked about it, how they often do this shit where they pull the rug. Main battery nerf. Engine power bonus nerf and duration nerf. Tier 7, big engine power nerf, 75 to 60. Tier 8, torpedoes. Distance until which torpedoes deal maximum damage reduced. That's a buff, isn't it? They deal maximum damage faster. No, wait, was it so that they only dealt maximum damage at short range? So it's a nerf. They dealt maximum damage short range and then they dealt less damage long range. Wasn't that how they worked? So that's actually a nerf then. And they nerfed... No, wait, they buffed the speed booster. They both buffed speed boost 25 to 30, and they increased the duration 75 to 90. So this is a pretty big buff. Well, a small torpedo nerf, but a big buff to the speed boost. French destroyers Orage. Tier 9. Stock torpedo parameters changed. Distance on which torpedoes deal maximum damage reduced. 76.5. And then the researcher balloon 7.5 to 7. So they deal max damage until 7 km, and then they start falling off. Cassard. Distance until which torpedoes deal maximum damage reduced 8 to 7. Okay, that's a pretty big nerf to actually the tier 10. Dutch cruiser Admiral. Main battery... These ones had the dynamic torpedoes. That's what they're talking about here. Basically, they deal max damage all the way until 7 kilometers, and then the further out the torpedoes travel, the less damage they deal. Wasn't that how they worked? I think that's how they worked. I'm a bit worried that they're still balancing them one just before the release, but whatever. Dutch cruiser Admiral. Main battery parameters changed. Reload time, nerf. Shell ballistics are flatter, range increase. Okay. Admiral is a ship used for testing that is based on the Dutch cruisers. Well, this is one of the versions of the 7 Provincian. Weren't they adding a bunch of different versions they were testing of it? Statenland? Oh yeah. This is all the different 7 Provincian versions they were testing. Main battery reload time increase. Smoke generator Statenland. 124 seconds. This is American smoke. This is an American smoke. And it gets an extra airstrike with better range. Wait, hold on. This is a huge buff. 2 to 3 airstrikes. Range 9 to 9.5. Number of aircraft in attacking flight 5 to 7. Cooldown reduction 40 to 33. That's a gigantic buff. More charges, more range, more planes, faster cooldown. Interesting. And it has a smoke. So you can send planes from a smoke. Okay, interesting. Theseus. That was the British CV. Maximum number of torpedo bombers on deck reduced 10 to 6. Okay. Number of aircraft in attacking flight of skip bombers increased from 2 to 3. That's a big buff to the attacking flight, like the Alpha deals. Total number of planes in the squadron remains unchanged. Spanish cruiser Almirante Oquendo. Reload nerf. Alternate reload, nerf. Libertad and Commodoro, HE buff. Victoria. Uh-oh. Okay, this looks like a big-ass fucking change. What was Victoria's gimmick, chat? I don't remember. What was Victoria's gimmick? Let's see. Victoria. Spanish battleship Victoria. What was news? It was a Spanish tier 9 BB that was based on the Vittorio Veneto. That's what it was. So it's an copy pasta Veneto at tier 9. And they were trying a bunch of different wonky they were trying different firing modes. That's what they were trying. Hello, Tankali. How's life treating you? Well, I'm actually, turns out I'm still feeling great, which means I didn't get sick on my vacation. Jackpot. This seems to be becoming more and more common. Maybe I'm growing acclimated to leaving my house. Scary, I know, scary. Spanish battleship Victoria, tier 9. Okay, let's see. HE shells removed. Standard AP shell parameters have been changed. Okay. Maximum damage reduced by about 800, so about 8%. Shell ballistics have been changed. Their trajectories will become more arced. As a result, the ballistics on standard and modified shells have become identical. Shell penetration has been significantly reduced. Shell fuse timer has been reduced. So short fuse, but really shitty pen. Whoa, but improved pen angles. The angle at which the check for ricochets is made increase 45 to 70 degrees. Guaranteed ricochet angles. Wait, so it's got 70 to 80 degree pen angles. What? That's insane. Wait, that's actually insane. That's better than Petro. Is that better than DM pen angles? That's so good. What? That's like actually completely bonkers good. Let's see. Wait, who has 70 to 80 pen degrees? Does anyone have even that? I don't think anyone has that. Mino has 60 to 75. DM has 60 to 68. Like, the Soviets have 50 to 65. The standard is 45 to 60. So this thing is gonna have 70 to 80. I don't even know if there's a ship in the game that has 70 to 80. Is there? I don't think there is. Is there any ship? There's no one that has 70 to 80. The closest you get is 65 to 80 on like the Royal Navy low tier cruisers. Is that SAP? It's like SAP. It's gonna be like SAP. Yeah, it's gonna be SAP. It's San Diego. It's San Diego SAP angles on Battleship AP. What? What? Are cruisers too strong again? Are cruisers too overpowered again? What the fuck? This is 381mm guns. This is Veneto guns. Or like Veneto caliber. So, you overmatch 25mm plating, and you also have cruiser SAP angles. What? Holy shit. I don't feel that's okay. I don't think that's... What the fuck? Super short fuse as well, so you're not going to be suffering from the overpens. I mean, this thing is never going to sit BBs, I think, because shit shell pen, short fuse, and very arcing ballistic. So probably can't sit BBs at range at all. But in return, you're just going to be pinning everything, and you're going to be citadeling, especially light cruisers, really fucking hard. You're going to be pinning light cruisers in general really fucking hard. Like set angles, you can fuck at range. You can be perfectly nose in against Sap, and you still hit a bunch of damage. That's gonna happen with this thing now, because fucking guaranteed ricochets 80-degree angle. Like you understand what a fucking 90-degree angle 8 is like. Holy shit. Holy fuck. Technically it's just a Sap with a different icon. Kinda. It's Sap that can also punch past layers of armor and reach a citadel. Because Sap arms on the first layer, like HE. If there's two layers of armor like this, Sap explodes on the first and that's it. But this, because it's got a fuse timer, it can actually punch and citadel with this. So it's going to be extra brutal against light cruisers. The ones that are going to suffer probably the hardest is any light cruisers that get hit by this. Are light cruisers still, in Wargaming's opinion, so strong? Like, I barely see them in-game. But apparently they're still too strong. So wait, it gets two different versions of AP now. Because this thing had two separate modes. It used to be HE and AP, but now they're doing AP and AP? Okay, let's see. What's the modified AP? 14.7k AP alpha. What the fuck is that? That's a lot of alpha. 14.7k AP alpha. How much AP alpha is that? That's like 14.7k AP alpha. That's like more than Kremlin AP alpha. Roughly here. Shell ballistics have been changed. The trajectories will now be flatter. As a result, the ballistics on standard and modified shells have become identical. Shell penetration has been significantly increased. The angle at which check for ricochets has been made is reduced. 45 to 30. 60 to 40. And then they reduce detectability by C. What the 30 to 40 degree? So this needs broadsides. She always had two shell types on both AP and HE. Interesting. But they nuked the whole HE. Yamato is 14.8. Is it? Is it even that much? Hold on. Yamato is... Isn't Yamato like... What the fuck? Why can't I say Yamato? Oh, because we don't have everyone locked. Whoops, my bad. Yamato. Oh, Yamato is 14.8. You're right. I was like, why can't I see it? Because Yamato wasn't here. Thank you, 5B. And thank you, Marco, for 61, and Teme for 79, by the way. Yeah. So this is Yamato AP damage on a tier 9. With great pen and flat arcs, but complete dogshit angles, like really bad angles. But, I mean, you can switch to these for drive-bys and close-range fights. Like, you can lob this on the nose-in ship, and then when they get close enough, you switch to this for the drive-by, for the close-range ship, and you just absolutely decimate. Like, you're gonna be punching Yamato AP volleys into the sides of these ships. Is this EU? This is EU, yes. Surely this... Why is this detectability tied to this part? Wait. Why is the detectability not in a separate slot? Surely they don't mean that switching AP shell reduces your detectability. Surely not, right? But it's kind of... It's formatted It's got to be a formatting error, right? It's got to be a formatting error. It has to be. Sure. It has to be. It has to be. It's guaranteed formatting error. Trust. It's a formatting error. That's why I asked if this was in Russia. It's above averagely demented. Yeah, I mean, I've said it before, but these developers are in active competition of who can make the most vodka infused design. So, but this is no, this is EU. This is wargaming. Okay. Well, interesting. Interesting, I guess. I wonder how long it's gonna take to switch type, and is it gonna scale with shit like expert loader, or like how do you switch type for your ammo? I don't know. It's gonna be interesting for sure. Currently, we're considering multiple Victoria ship concepts, and besides the previously announced one, we will also test the current one. Starting with update 13.6, we will begin testing the above-mentioned concept for Victoria. We'll thoroughly evaluate the ship's performance and test your feedback for all concepts of the ship before making the final decision. In this new iteration, Victoria gets low damage and low penetration standard AP shells, which have incredible ricochet angles and reduced fuse timer, making them very similar to SAP shells, but with more penetration compared to SAP shells, that is. Otherwise, penetration is quite low for a battleship shell, and higher chance to hit citadels. Alternative AP shells, on the contrary, boast very high penetration and damage, but have significantly worse than average ricochet angles, making them only useful against broadside targets, as the shells will start to ricochet even off slightly angled ships, making them primarily an anti-broadside weapon. To further supplement this gameplay of a broadside hunter, the ship's concealment was improved. Wait, I don't think this is a formatting error. I don't think this is a formatting error. I don't. I don't think this is a formatting error. I think it's a thing. I think switching AP shells will reduce your concealment. It is chill. Is it? I don't think it's a formatting error. Because even on the official Reddit page, they even on the official Reddit page posted by Devblog Wows, which is Wargaming, even here they intentionally put it here. I don't think it's a formatting error. I don't think it's format. I think it's a thing. I I yeah, no, I think they what they're actually saying is when you switch shells in your turrets, your ship becomes stealthier. I mean, surely it's a formatting error on both pages, and but I mean they say this to further supplement this gameplay of a broadside hunter, the ship's concealment was improved. But I mean that could still apply to the whole part. That could still apply to the whole part. It could still apply. It probably applies to the whole part, right? Right. It's not tied to the shells. That's too demented. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt that they're not this retarded. It was a formatting error. Okay, it was a formatting. It's it's the last line. It just happens to be right underneath here. It's a formatting error and something of a communication issue here that makes it a bit fuzzy. But no way. Sure, yeah, formatting error. Then we love nested bulletins. We love nested bulletins. Okay, well. That was just the first Devblog. Can't wait for the second Devblog. Okay, let's see. What is the second development blog? Hold it. I mean, they are. They are. Like, I'm pretty sure at this point, Lesta is cooking crack and Wargaming is cooking. If you think there's not much difference, that's probably because there isn't. Okay. Almirante Oquendo at the dockyard, Colorful Regatta, and more. Close days 30%. So once again, more EU devlogs. The sun is out, and we're busy with two things. Getting a sweet tan and preparing content for update 13. But oh god, is this going to be a ChatGPT devlog again? I think it is. Let's take a look at what we're cooking, shall we? Oh, man. Thank you, Mr. Horst. Wired. Hello, fellow teenagers. Yes. Yo, this thing looks fucking great, though. I mean, okay, this is actually really... didn't they just release a camera that has this exact... This is pasted, but I really like the color scheme. I like the color scheme. I like the color scheme. We already gave you a little tease of our next dockyard ship in Devblog 534, but let's make it official. The next dockyard ship is going to be the Tier 9 Spanish cruiser Almirante Oquendo. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce that, so I'll just say Almirante Oquendo, and I hope it's correct. I like the color scheme, though. I like the, like, pale yellow turrets and superstructure parts. I like it. I like it. Thank you, Mr. Ors, for the 20 months. I think this looks nice. Named after the famous naval commander Antonio de Oquendo, this cruiser packs not just one punch, but 12 punches. One for each of our 203mm barrels. Is this ChatGPT? This has to be like ChatGPT, right? The fact that they even went through the effort of like explaining the jokes in parentheses. Haha, this is a joke on barrels. That provides some pretty solid damage per minute. Oh boy. This sounds like me trying to explain my fucking student scorecard to my parents. Some pretty solid numbers. We also got to talk about her special alternative fire mode called Modified Shells. Oh boy. When activated, these already impressive guns get even more dangerous as their dispersion is lowered by 20%. That's gotta hurt! Good one. Thank you. Now, while she does have a powerful main battery and is pretty speedy, Almirante Oquendo has quite a vulnerable citadel. Be sure to not draw the ire of battleships or heavy cruisers, or else you might find yourself literally sleeping with the fishes! Man, I'm only fucking 2 paragraphs into this devlog and I can already tell this is gonna be a real fucking banger, man. The dockyard itself will be broken into 20 phases. As always, you can complete combat missions that will award you with dockyard phases. However, you will need to obtain 2 phases outside of these combat missions. The great news is that similar to the Wisconsin dockyard, players will have the opportunity to complete this dockyard without buying additional phases. Tier 6 German cruiser Leipzig will be offered as an intermediate reward, and those captains who were lucky enough to obtain her already will be awarded 2 phases after reaching her assigned phase. Who doesn't love a free ship? Yeah, true. Additionally, each phase can be purchased for 2,000 doubloons. There will also be starter packs available for 3,000 doubloons, which include 2 phases, and 8,000 doubloons, which include 7 phases. For those who want to jumpstart their progression. These packs will only be available until you achieve 5 phases through combat missions, so be warned. Regardless of how you get there, the final reward for this event is Almirante Oquendo with the special Warpaint permanent camo and the Almirante Oquendo flag. This dockyard event will last until the start of update 13.10, with combat missions available until the end of update 13.8. Once 13.9 rolls around, you will only be able to progress the dockyard by purchasing phases for doubloons, so make sure you get cracking as soon as the event rolls around. Yes. AP Skip Bombers Test. Huh? AP Skip Bombers Test? That was never a thing. What? That was never a thing. What? Armor-piercing skip bombs. How would that even work? How would that even work? How would you... Do they know how skip bombs look? It's literally a barrel. Like, skip bomb. Do they understand how these look, what this look like? Like, skip bombs were literally barrels that bounced on the fucking water, basically. These are bouncing bombs or skip bombs. This is what it fucking looks like. These are bouncing bombs. You fucking spin them, throw them, and they bounce on the water until they hit the target. How the fuck do you make these bouncing bombs into an armor-piercing projectile? Huh? That doesn't make any sense. It's... How do you get them to... Like, it's not like fucking skipping a bread trying to skip a missile or something underwater. This makes no fucking sense. We're testing out new plane type with the update of release with the release of update 30% AP skip bombers. These squadrons will be added to the testbed German aircraft carrier Werner Voss, a cloud of Manfred Verdichter will largely function as the existing HE skip bombs, but with an AP ordnance. Along with skip bombers, Werner Voss carries air squadrons of AP rocket attack and torpedo bombers. That's just awful. No, like, this is terrible from any sort of realism perspective, and this is terrible from a gameplay perspective. This is just fucking terrible. There's no good part. There's nothing good here. This is just awful. These squadrons are designed to deal significant damage to broadsides. Because that carriers, especially these guys that already have fucking AP rockets and torpedo bombers, are lacking this option. Like that's what carriers are lacking, crossfire options. So we need more of them. Like, yeah, why would you want an AP skip bomb if the least armor is always on the deck? Exactly. Fuck's sake. Why would you want, when you have the option of dropping bombs right on top of a ship, why would you ever go through the side, through the effort of dropping them through the side where the thickest armor to protect against incoming shells is? It makes no fucking sense from any perspective. This is so retarded. Is this really war? Is this like war game? Is this not Lesta? No, .com. This is not Lesta. This is dumb enough to be a Lesta devblog. Holy shit. Not to mention that from the top is aided by gravity. Yeah, and from the side you lose fucking velocity, because that's what determines the pin of any AP projectile is the velocity at which it impacts into the ship. And if you have to drop it from the side and have it fucking skip on the water, losing like, bro, it's fuck. Oh my god. Hit point, 700 cruising speed 174 with boost. That's gonna be over 200 knots. Those are really fucking fast. Size of attacking flight 4, aircraft per squadron 12. Aircraft registration 90. Bombs in payload 1. Wait. Bombs in payload 1, but it's 4 per squadron. So, wait, what the fuck? This is... So one drop is potentially 27,000 citadel damage. One drop. So you can 2-tap a Des Moines. You can 2-tap a Des Moines from the side with this. And what was it? 12. So you can drop 3 times. So this is the alpha. This and unlike with HE bombs, where you don't really reach the alpha, these can reach the maximum alpha because they're scoring citadels. It's citadel damage. You can actually get this alpha. So you have the potential of 80k fucking AP damage per squad. And you're doing 200 knots and creating crossfires as well. In the past, it used to be like, if a fucking CV comes in, do you angle against the CV and get dev strike by the BBs? Or do you just tank the bombs and not get dev strike by everyone who's shooting you? But now with these, if you don't angle against them, they dev strike you. So you just get fucked. That's really it. You're guaranteed fucked. What the fuck is this? These squadrons are designed to deal significant damage to broadside with a higher maximum potential than AP rockets, but are less accurate and can be countered effectively by angling, as the ricochet angles are worse than rockets, with the bombs also traveling slower than rockets. Okay, first of all, a less accurate is a fucking horrendous gameplay mechanic for both the CV player and the surface player. Because you know what that means? RNG. No one fucking likes that. You don't like fucking going like, oh, you know what? Maybe I can survive not angling against these guys, and then you get smashed for 30k. That's not fucking fun. And the carrier doesn't like getting a free broadside to drop, and then having RNG make all of the fucking bombs miss. Inaccurate, a threat of massive damage that is RNG based is a fucking horrendous design. They're actually making this design worse as I read. It started poorly and it's getting worse. That's actually fucking impressive. And can be countered effectively by angling, yes, but if you drop someone who can't angle, who for example is engaged in battle with other ships, they can't angle. So this countered effectively by angling is such a fucking dogshit argument to make when talking about carrier planes that once again are going to be doing over 200 knots with the boost, which means they can outmaneuver everyone and create crossfires at will. So you can't counter them effectively by angling, because if you do that, you're going to be plane spotted and fucking dev struck by everyone shooting you. Oh my lord. You can treat AP skip bombs similarly to how you would AP shells. Angle your ship to avoid penetrations and encourage ricochets. You can treat AP skip bombs similarly to how you would AP shells. Angle your ship to avoid penetrations and encourage ricochets. With just a small, fucking minuscule little difference, the fact that a fucking battleship can't appear with fucking 10 km concealed from behind an island and fucking appear on my broadside within seconds with zero fucking warning and zero fucking information, putting me in the worst position imaginable just because he decided, you know what, I'm gonna strike that guy. You know what this is gonna lead to, wargaming? More kited out ships. More passive gameplay and more kited out ships. After your fucking dogshit argument of how you wanted to reduce camping in the game, you add this, one of the strongest anti-pushing tools you can imagine. Because you know how you push in World of Warships? You find an angle where you can angle against multiple enemy ships and then you push into them while mitigating the damage they deal. Things that fuck with this are things like subs, which they do so much alpha damage even when angled, or fucking this shit, dev striking you the second you try to push in. Like, just dodge. This is literally, this is their fucking argument. Just dodge. Just angle your ship and avoid penetrations. Easy. I feel like they test this in a fucking training room with one carrier against one ship, and then they watch that one ship turn into the skip bombers and go, oh look, it took no damage. It's easily counterable. Completely ignoring the fact that the vast majority of this game is fucking played in 12 versus 12. Dude, this is demented. Another thing to remember is that these particular skip bombs have parameters that can change with each skip, such as the reduction of penetration and the change of the armor threshold for bomb arming. So when going as base battleships, it's better to hit them with your first skip, and if cruisers are your target, it's better to hit them with your second skip. Wow, that's going to be so hard to memorize. 1 and 2 skips. Truly, the pinnacle of fucking skill. What a fuck. God, this is... Why do they fucking keep adding different forms of planes? I'd like to talk with the fucking guy or at Wargaming who's convinced that, you know what will fucking save World of Warships? A bunch of different new planes being added to the game. Just demented, just fucking stupid, man. Colorful Regatta. Zao CLR. Oh, Pog, you know a lot of people are gonna buy this thing. That's gonna be a juicy target. Hello, the real birth control. We added the following content. The War Emergency Flag, the Battle Honor Permanent Camo. Was that a real camo? It looks kind of weird. It's kind of weird. I can see like there's a bunch of ships there with different like banners hanging on the side. Oxidated copper? No, they added these small things, these small banners on the side. I can't say it looks particularly appealing though. I don't know. Maybe to someone this color scheme is nice, but to me it just kind of looks, I don't know, kind of shitty. Like the Zao looks pretty spicy. But this thing just looks pretty ass. Heart of Oak container contents. Okay. Ship Colossus. Oh, 0.7% drop chance to get Belfast. And 0.2% chance to get Colossus. My god, these drop rates in this game are incredible, honestly. Most of the gachas I play, like, if a character is super rare, it has a 2% drop chance. If a character is just a normal super rare, not like a limited super rare, then it's 4% drop chance. In World of Warships, the containers are like 0.07, 0.02%. Holy shit. You gotta remember, this is not 0.7, this is 0.07%. Do you understand how low this is, okay? 1% is 1 in 100. 0.1% would be 1 in 1,000. 0.07 is what? 7 in 10,000 chance to get a ship. This is a 2 in 10,000 chance to get a ship from these containers. Do you understand the probability here? It's there's a chance. There's a chance. May the odds ever be in your favor. True, true, true. Most gachas have a pity mechanic. Yeah, unlike this game. There is a premium. The paid for one. 1.57, 0.79. Fucking Christ, even the paid for container is dog shit. Holy fuck. Even the fucking paid for container is dog shit. The Slovak National Uprising Flag. Okay. All commanders with them will. We're adding more commanders which were previously available for a limited time during events. Okay. Fair enough. Last but not certainly least, we have some new unique upgrades on the way. Vermont and Cristoforo Colombo are receiving some new shiny modifications that will change the way these ships play. Both upgrades will cost 19.2k research points. Okay, what the fuck is this? Vermont. The improved electric power system upgrade for Vermont changes the ship's tactical role by enhancing the firepower and allowing for more effective countering of submarines and aircraft. Okay. Slot 5. So you're replacing concealment for 10% reload, faster ASW, 15% continuous air. Yeah. Okay, so this is fucking useless. Complete dog shit useless. This is of questionable value, because most of the time when you actually get to spot that, you already have them available, so this doesn't really help much. These are both kind of like whatever. 10% main battery reload in return for losing concealment. This is like the real kicker. But you lose concealment, which means you give up one of Vermont's greatest strengths, the fact that it's got a completely fucking busted concealment of 12.6, which makes no sense for a ship that has that. So what that means also, you're losing out on a lot of brisk utility, and also you're losing out on a lot of ambush shots because of it. I don't know. 10% reload is nice, but how often are you pulling the trigger in your Vermont on cooldown? This was the same thing I noticed when I used to play a lot of Slava, was you very rarely actually shoot your guns on cooldown. I looked at my games, like I would go back in a replay and I would look at my games, and there was so often I would have my guns ready, and I would still wait for opportune moments where people would give me broadside or people would turn and so forth. So often I would simply sit there with my guns loaded and not pull the trigger. And I'm thinking there's a bit of the same thing that's gonna happen here. You're gonna sit there with your guns loaded and not want to pull the trigger because you're waiting for that optimal turn, that optimal broadside, optimal shot, whatever. It's essentially 10% concealment versus 10% main battery reload. But concealment on Vermont gives you both damage in the form of ambush and speed in the form of brisk. And just plain survivability. That it also gives you that, just plain survivability. The most interesting part here really is going double reload, but it's that it just exemplifies the same issue. You rarely pull the trigger on cooldown, and now you're pulling the reload with worse dispersion. Reload doesn't directly translate into DPM for the reasons mentioned. No, exactly. That's what people often confuse. The reload translate really well on fast reloading cruisers. Like, if you put reload on a Colbert or a Minnow or a Des Moines or things like this, you will usually be able to utilize this DPM very effectively because, well, you're pulling the trigger on cooldown. You're just spamming shots out. But that's not how it works in ships like battleships in general, unless you're playing like Illinois. It doesn't work that way in battleships, and it certainly doesn't work like that way in Vermont. So minus 10% main battery reload time doesn't mean 10% better DPM. It just means 10% reload, if and when you get an opportunity to use it. Now, how often in a game do you find yourself shooting your battleship guns the second they're reloaded? Very fucking rarely. That's how often. Very fucking rarely. So, Thank you, HFS Henry. I don't know. I actually don't know. They've both been really impressive, I think. I think that's gonna be the like the game to watch here. But yeah, every time with my HE conk. Yeah, but that's the difference. Ships that spam HE, you tend to spam with them because you don't need that optimal shot. You just want to get shells on target. But I think this is not going to be nearly as good as people think it's going to be. I think this might, in fact, be a bit of a downgrade. I'm thinking the loss in conceal is gonna, because now you're no longer a super conceal battleship with 12.6 conceal. You're a 14 km conceal battleship, which means you're spotted from just as far away as the likes of Montana and Yamato and so forth, which means you no longer get those juicy ambush shots out that you normally get to pull off. And it also means you're much easier to farm and keep lit and keep shooting at. And brisk is also less active, so you're even clunkier, which is a great weakness of the brick to begin with. Hard sell for me. It's like Republic mod tier. Yeah, upsides don't outvalue downs. Exactly. I think this one is gonna be pretty That's really it. Also, doesn't the... Wait, doesn't this mod come with a... Yeah, it also comes with the dispersion. So it's double survivability. It comes with the dispersion debuff. Doesn't matter too much on a brick, but it can be the difference between sits and just broadside pens. The 5%, especially being shot at from range. So there's a... I don't think it's that straightforward of a sound. Oops. I think this one is gonna be pretty fucking questionable. Pretty fucking questionable, honestly. Cristoforo Colombo. The improved rangefinders upgrade for Cristoforo Colombo increases the efficiency of the long-range attacks. This ship is much better if they improve the firing angles, but let's see. Slot 6. -6 maximum main battery shell dispersion, -6 main battery reload time. As opposed to running reload. That's pretty interesting. You trade reload, but you also trade a debuff. Keep in mind, this one comes with a debuff. It comes with a traverse speed debuff. So you lose the debuff, and you lose 6% reload, but then in return you get better dispersion, which is one of the greater weaknesses of the Colombo. 6% is a pretty good number. This one might be worth it. This one might be pretty good. This one is probably going to be worth slotting. Generally speaking, better dispersion, especially on battleships, is usually better than anything else. Like, almost always. Very few exceptions. This one looks almost like a straightforward upgrade. Like, if you play Colombo, I see very, very little reason not to run this buff. Or, sorry, this upgrade. It does have 360 turrets, so the turret traverse debuff isn't that bad. That's fair. That's absolutely fair. But more importantly than that, though, it's you only trade 6% reload for better accuracy, which is always great. Always great. Yeah, no. Now you sacrifice half reload mode for use. I mean, normally you run this one on the Americans, which is 11. And you give up the full 12... Like, people happily give up the full 12% reload. Odota hetki. Yeah, you give up the 12%... Normally you give up the 12% reload for the 11. Happily. So, giving up 6 and getting 6 in return, I think pretty no-brainer. That upgrade is going to be a no-brainer. Yeah, that's exactly what Nature said. The other ones, including the Colombo, get to enjoy having an actually useful 3-pointer or slot 3 upgrade. So they're always going to be running this thing, which is 7%. So they get 7 and 6. That's pretty damn nice. That is pretty damn nice. Right. That was the Devblogs. Honestly, a lot of demented shit. A lot of demented shit. The AP Bombers is really demented. The AP Bombers is really demented, and then that other Devblog. The other Devblog, what did it have? The one had. Oh yeah, that was questions with Victoria. We'll see. We'll see. Interesting. Anyway, my wife needs help finding some cable. Give me a like.